Nah, de locos. Mirad qué pequeño se ve. Esto es un 300. ¡Qué barbaridad! Oh, eso sí que es una barbaridad. Creo que es un cambio sustancial en la manera en la que van a trabajar a partir de ahora las cámaras que incorporen el Global Shutter. Hola a todo el mundo a On The Field, el primer podcast deportivo para creativos, fotógrafos, filmmakers, tanto profesionales como amateurs. En este podcast, como podréis estar viendo hasta el día de hoy, hemos hecho entrevistas ya a fotógrafos y filmmakers y hoy vamos a hacer algo distinto, vamos a hacer algo especial. Hoy vamos a reaccionar en directo a la conferencia de Sony, una conferencia que muchos creativos y sobre todo muchos fotógrafos están esperando porque hay rumores de que se presenta hoy la Sony a9III. Una cámara que seguramente va a revolucionar el mercado de la industria del deporte, porque hay pajaritos que dicen que incorpora el primer Global Shutter, la primera cámara deportiva con Global Shutter, es decir, un avance que nos va a ayudar a muchos fotógrafos deportivos, sobre todo aquellos que fotografían béisbol, golf, entre otros deportes donde necesitamos que haya un rolling shutter cero, ¿vale? Vamos a ver, porque esto ya está a punto de empezar, quedan 2 minutos, voy ahora a compartiros la pantalla, vamos a ver, share screen y vamos a compartir la pantalla de esto de aquí. En principio se tiene que estar viendo bien, si no me decís, pero bueno, básicamente lo que vamos a ver en esta conferencia es, como os he dicho, algo que bueno, que será un antes y un después en la industria del deporte, sobre todo seguramente en la fotografía deportiva. Y vamos a ver, porque también hay rumores de que va a aparecer un 300GM, un 300G Master, entiendo que un 2.8, una lente que para muchos fotógrafos era necesaria o muchos fotógrafos pedían, porque es una lente entre medias del 70-200 y el 400, es una lente bastante versátil que nos puede servir mucho también para deportes de mayor proximidad, entre comillas, como puede ser un partido de baloncesto o un partido incluso de fútbol americano o de fútbol en general. Y vamos a ver, porque tengo ganas de que esto empiece. En principio ahora estamos a 1 minuto. En principio todo se ve bien, ¿no? A mí se me va a ver perfecto, genial. Pues me voy a poner la conferencia en grande. ¡Ay, que se ve que ya ha comenzado! Venga, venga, venga. 1.10, 1.10. Voy a poner audio para que yo pueda escuchar también la conferencia. ¡Wow! Me la voy a bajar un poquitín. Vale. Casi se rompen los oídos a mí. Un minutito, gente. Un minutito. Un minutito para la conferencia. ¡Qué ganitas! A mí me gustaría también... Espera, voy a quitar los subtítulos. Bueno, como podéis ver, aquí ya ha empezado, pero no quiero hacer spoiler. Así que como no he actualizado la página, me voy a esperar. Me gustaría, sinceramente, también que presentaran algo a nivel de vídeo. Como sabéis, yo soy un filmmaker deportivo que lleva ya bastantes años trabajando en el mundo de la industria del deporte a nivel como fotógrafo y filmmaker. Y me gustaría ver algo a nivel de vídeo, la verdad. Y nada, si os gusta este tipo de contenido, ya sabéis, suscribiros, darle like a este contenido. Este vídeo, seguramente este directo lo voy a subir tanto aquí en On The Field como en I Am Dani Ximénez, mis redes sociales personales de marca personal. Y nada, ¡vamos!
Neil Manowitz.
Neil Manowitz, presidente and COO de Sony Electronics.
Hello to everyone tuning in around the world. I also want to welcome here everybody in New York City. At Sony, we are passionate about community. We're always striving to get closer to the creators, strengthening this community here, our community. It fuels our innovations. And a perfect example of that is nothing other than just what we had a month ago at Condo Trip. And we brought a very diverse group of creators from all different fields together where they can
Bueno, hablan de la comunidad. Aquí vemos caras que seguramente conoceréis si seguís la industria. Aquí Potato Jet con un canal de YouTube
They can
increíble.
share their voice with us,
Aquí creo que es
with
Mark
each
Bond.
other,
Mark
and
Bond,
share their
filmmaker,
voice to the entire
buenísimo. Os dejo aquí
world. We could
links
also
en la
share our
descripción.
latest innovations with them, and I'm excited that we're doing that again this week here in New York at Creative Space.
Vamos a ver.
We're always listening to this community. We
Vamos a
strive
crear
to
el
seize
futuro
their expectations.
juntos.
And through this process, their voice is in our innovations. We're empowering creators to capture what has never been captured before. We are creating the future together, which leads us to where we are today. So every once in a while, there's a technology that changes the trajectory of an industry. It changes the way we think. And this is one of those times. So for a long while, I've been very excited for this day to come. And with it,
Dice que está excitado por el día de hoy, que la industria está cambiando mucho con las nuevas tecnologías. No sé si estará dejándose hablar por el tema de las inteligencias artificiales, que como sabéis se están cada vez incorporando más a los dispositivos móviles y en la industria de la fotografía y del vídeo, lógicamente.
Thank you for coming to Sony's Alpha event today, and thank you
Masaki
for watching this live stream
Oshima.
event
A ver
for
qué
the
nos
web.
cuenta este
I'm Masaki
personaje.
Oshima. I oversee Sony's consumer camera body business globally. I'd like to explain some updates today.
Nos va a presentar
Before moving on to
nuevas actualizaciones.
touch upon Sony's purpose.
Primero nos va a hablar por eso de la filosofía y el propósito que al final engloba la marca, ¿no? Y lo que persigue la marca.
Challenging this in all we do, including
Eso siempre está bien que lo cuenten. Al final quieren hacer llegar, ¿no?, la filosofía a los consumidores.
Since we introduced the world's first full-frame mirrorless interchangeable lens camera, Alpha 7.
Cierto, en octubre hicimos el primer 10º aniversario de las primeras mirrorless, en este caso la primera Sony, la Alpha 7.
And appreciate your strong support of our decade of innovation. We continue to innovate based on our strengths, the 5 fundamentals, to help creators unleash their.
Nos enseñan sus 5 fundamentos para mejorar
And it has also been a decade
la
of
creatividad
fundraising
de los
and
artistas.
explore the world with our creator community.
Comunidad.
Let's look back on the journey together.
Madre mía, la primera 9 en 2016.
Starting from the original Alpha 7, the voices
La segunda
of creators
A9
have been
2019
motivating us to exceed their expectations
es el año, toca la tercera.
and implement innovations into each model. Over the past decade, Sony has changed the landscape of mirrorless cameras with creators.
Madre mía, qué nervios.
And this challenge has always been realized with the E-mount lens system.
Nos habla de las cámaras que han creado y sobre todo de las
The E-mount
lentes que han
system
creado con el
is an
E-mount system.
extensive one-mount system that connects the worlds of stills, videos, and cinema seamlessly, supporting a wide range of creative activities. Sony also believes that it's important not only to provide innovative products, but also to contribute
Bueno,
to
básicamente están haciendo un repaso de todo lo que han hecho durante todos estos 10 años desde la creación del sistema mirrorless con su nueva,
Sony Future Film
con su
Makeover,
nuevo,
and events like Candle Trip and
con su nueva montura, digamos, Sony E,
We are committed to their,
que básicamente facilitaba el uso de todas las lentes en todos los ámbitos, fotografía, vídeo y cine.
We also believe it's important to update our current Alpha products with the latest technology to stimulate creativity.
Primeras novedades, ¿no?
So we are planning to have the software update for the Alpha
Una actualización de software para la Alpha 1 y la A7S3 con el Breathing Compensation, que eso está muy bien, sobre todo para vídeo.
We will bring new features that have been strongly requested.
Cosas de workflow, que aquí yo me pierdo un poco, la verdad. No os voy a engañar, voy a ser
Tell you
sincero.
about our newest innovation. We strive to enable
Se viene el
creators to
300,
capture the
gente.
moment they envision and deliver them
Se viene el
at
300,
the highest
28.
quality. Now, we are pleased to announce a new telephoto prime lens that incorporates our cutting-edge technologies.
¡El 300,
It's
28!
the FP300 f2.8G Master.
1,5 kilos, no llega. Noviembre, este año ya.
This is the ultimate 300mm lens with
Hoy lo
the
sacan
world's
ya.
lightest
Noviembre de
body
2023.
and high optical performance worthy of the G Master without any compromise.
Esta lente para
Mr.
fútbol
Bob
americano,
Martin
para
tried
vídeo,
for
tiene
new
que
lens.
ser
Let's see
espectacular.
how it was.
Vamos a ver.
Alpha.
Look what I've got my hands on. This is the new Sony 300GM lens. I've been waiting for this for a long, long time. I'm Bob Martin. I'm a sports photographer.
Bob
For
Martin,
many, many
sports
years,
photographer.
I've covered the major
¿Lo
events
tendremos que
in
traer al
sports
podcast o no,
all across
gente?
the world.
Quiero expandirme,
First
América.
impressions. This
Al
is
mercado
the lightest 300
de habla inglesa.
2.8 I've ever come across. I think it's probably about the same weight as my first 70 to 200 lens. You know, that's pretty amazing. So this is going to be a lens for handheld photography. That's the most important thing that comes across here.
Lo está diciendo, yo lo estaba viendo, Se ve pequeñito,
Whether you're shooting horizontally or vertically.
Dice que se parece mucho a su primer 70-200 que tuvo.
And it's not top heavy, it's not back heavy. The balance is spot on for sports photography. It's pin sharp.
Buena
Should be,
pinta,
shouldn't it, really? It's a Sony GM after all. They're all marvelous lenses, but this is fantastic. And with the converters as well. It's super sharp with a 1.4 and super sharp with a doubler.
Dice que es muy, muy detallado.
Looking to the future, what do
Incluso con los
sports
multiplicadores.
photographers want? I'll tell you what we want. We want innovation. Okay, we want you to keep pushing the bar. But more importantly, if Sony keep innovating and keep talking to us and listening to what we want.
Bueno, ahora le
we're
está
gonna be
haciendo un poquito la
happy because
pelota a
that's the
Sony.
best thing about using Sony equipment.
Cosa que me parece bien. Entiendo que debe ser un embajador de la marca. El primer 300 de la historia, creo. Sony 300
What do
2.8.
you think? Yeah.
Ay,
Thank you very much.
buscando los aplausos aquí el amigo,
I could say my presentation is now over, and please enjoy trying out new lens.
Otra.
But that's not all I have to share.
¿Otra lente?
Alpha.
Esto tiene buena pinta,
Never-ending challenge.
Ah, es la cámara. La Sony A9, ¿no? Todo enfocado a deportes.
Photo to change views. A single photo to make history.
Sí, gente, sí.
In an age overwhelmed by motion. Sometimes it's only a single powerful frame that can tell the whole story. For photographers who believe in the power of one frame, the challenge of Alpha continues. The new 9. Alpha 9 Mark III.
¡La a9III!
The world's first full-frame global shutter image sensor.
Algo muy importante. Muy importante. Global Shutter, la primera cámara con Global Shutter. Se acabaron los palos de golf deformes, las pelotas deformes. 120 fotogramas por segundo.
An astonishing, never before possible 1/80,000th shutter speed.
Lo que hablábamos de la inteligencia
Flash
artificial.
synchronization at any shutter speed.
¡Oh!
Worlds beyond
Whoa!
the limits of ambient light. Refined product design made for your hands.
Ojo lo del flash, a cualquier shutter speed.
A tool for professionals. A tool for photographers challenged to capture the unseen frame.
Bueno, ¿entran ganas de hacer fotografía
The
con
power
estos
of
aparatos?
one frame.
A tomar por culo el vídeo.
Mark III. A new story begins here.
A new story. The games begin. Qué buena pinta, tú.
Finally, we are pleased to announce our long-awaited new camera.
No distortion
the
for
Alpha
stills
9
and
Mark III.
video.
Yeah, thank you very much. The Alpha 9 Mark III is the world's first full-frame large camera with global shutter image sensor.
Increíble.
By exposing and reading out all pixels at the same time, it achieves a new dimension of speed performance up to 120 frames per second blackout-free content shooting with autofocus and auto exposure.
80.000 80.000
80,000
segundos
maximum
de shutter speed con
without
flash
any
synchro.
distortion. And can be sync flash at any shutter speed.
Increíble.
On our 10th anniversary, we are very excited to introduce these two new innovative products to the Alpha system and open up a new world for creators. For the next decade, we will continue to create the future.
Se notaba también que esto iba a pasar y seguramente pasará con otras marcas. Se acercan unas Olimpiadas, gente, y con las Olimpiadas siempre aparecen nuevas tecnologías para sacar lo mejor de ese evento deportivo. Que las Olimpiadas, recordemos, es uno de los mejores eventos deportivos del mundo y vamos a ver unas cuantas A9 y unos cuantos 300. Mirad qué pequeño se ve. ¡Esto es un 300! ¡Qué barbaridad! Es la lente perfecta.
Okay. That's all my presentation.
Nah,
Please
increíble.
enjoy our new products later.
No
Thank you very
parecía
much.
tan pequeña en el
Let me
vídeo
introduce Mike Buble,
del
tell you
fotógrafo
more
aquel.
about the products.
Pero sí que esta aquí me ha sorprendido, ¿eh?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Se ve muy pequeño, muy ligero.
It's ridiculous. When Oshima-san's here, you guys obviously know things are getting
Esta
really
lente
good.
no sé
Today's
qué va a
gonna be an
costar,
amazing day. Thank you,
pero
Oshima-san.
entre 10 y
Thank you,
15.000 euros seguro,
Sony,
¿eh?
thank you, engineers. Thank you, everybody. I'm out. I'm just kidding. But we're going to go a little bit more in depth on the camera. Not too in depth because I know you guys are excited to get out there and actually use the cameras, and I'm excited to play with it with you as well. But the Alpha 9 came out 6 years ago. A lot of you were here. A lot of you remember that camera because that
La primera cámara,
it
la
really
primera
did change the
A9
industry.
salió
It
hace 6
changed
años.
the way we shoot, enabled us to do things that we just never thought possible. Do things electronically, do things silently, 20 frames per second, and it really stabilized and established mirrorless as the format, and it changed the industry. But it made a new generation of cameras. But the 9 Mark III creates a new era of cameras. We made the impossible possible. For so many years,
esto del global
people said
shutter
that a global shutter camera
es
is
de locos.
impossible. Global shutter sensor is impossible. But the Alpha 9 III took the impossible.
¿Van a poner algún
and made
ejemplo
it
de lo que hace el global shutter para que la gente
Now,
que no
when
sepa
we
de qué
look
va
at the global shutter sensor,
exactamente?
not only is it a global shutter, but it's stacked, and it's got global shutter, and it's got everything that we've been working towards over years and years and years. 24.6 megapixels, which really is the sweet spot, because you saw it shoots really fast, and we want something that's not enormous files. 24.6 is that sweet spot, especially for global shutter. It gives us global shutter without compromise. People said, you're going to compromise ISO, you're going to compromise dynamic range. Well, we overcame that. We're Sony. We're the largest sensor manufacturer in the world. Of course we're going to do it. We're the only ones that can do it. And you guys know global shutter, we just talked about it, but it exposes and reads every single pixel at the same exact time. Every single one. For 40 years, we've been doing conventional rolling shutter, and we've been making it faster.
efecto cortina
and
que
faster
hablábamos.
and faster. And you saw the Alpha 9 make it as fast as it can possibly get. But no matter how fast a car is, it's still slower than teleportation, right? So it's just different types of speeds. You're not going to have something that is instantaneous. And when you have something that's instantaneous,
aquí lo explican.
you literally have zero distortion.
Mirar la imagen esta del palo, ¿eh?
Distortion. But no matter what, when you're swinging that golf club, you see on all of our cameras that don't have a global shutter, you're going to see distortion. When you're recording outside of a moving vehicle and you're trying to record something moving, you're going to get distortion. But gone are the days where you even need to think about a mechanical shutter, because with a global shutter you have completely no distortion.
Será el cambio, un
With
cambio
mechanical
generacional va a
video
suponer esta
and
cámara,
still.
¿eh? Esta cámara va a hacer que, bueno, espero que todas las marcas del sector van a empezar a introducir o a investigar el Global Shutter. Bueno, nuevo biochip para 9 y esto también es increíble.
I know everyone's thinking, well, lots of cameras can shoot really fast, so what's the trade-off? What's going to happen here? Like, what are you going to do? Well, we can do it without trade-offs. We can do it with full autofocus, full subject recognition. We're going to be able to shoot for 1.6 seconds, which is 192 frames. We can shoot in 14-bit RAW. So if you're shooting RAW plus JPEG at 120 frames per
Bueno, básicamente te dice que es la mejor cámara en la que puedes disparar 120 FPS ahora mismo. Sobre todo por el tema del autofoco, que no lo pierdes en ningún momento.
We need that DRAM, we need the stacked, we need the global to be able to give us everything that this camera can do. And of course, when you look through the viewfinder, you need to have blackout free. We're pushing the limits. It's here to stay. Blackout free gives us the ability to look through the viewfinder and have an uninterrupted view of
Eso está muy bien,
your subject. You can see the world through your lens, through the viewfinder, the same way that you see the world with your eyes. Now, I know what you're going to say. Can it keep up? Can the lenses keep up? Can the camera keep up in terms of autofocus? Heck yeah, it can. 120 frames
Las
per second,
V90 van a correr.
autofocus and auto exposure
Las
to be able to give
tarjetas.
autofocus calculations for every single frame. Another thing we're introducing on this camera is pre-capture. Because no matter how good you are,
bueno, está bien esto, pre-capture. A ver, no sé si otras cámaras de las marcas grandes como Canon lo ha hecho o Fuji, pero sí que es algo que han heredado o han copiado de Olympus o del sistema OM. Básicamente lo que hace el pre-capture es que cuando tú le estás dando un poquito al botón de shutter, él ya está empezando a hacer fotos y cuando le das del todo te hace una secuencia de 5 segundos antes o 5, 6, 7 fotos, que es lo que hace, lo que veis aquí. Eso está muy bien para no perderte la acción y el momento, sobre todo en eso, en flora y fauna. Que básicamente, pues eso, como os decía, ya no es una novedad tecnológica, ya que Olympus ya lo tenía incorporado.
And setting your camera up to always shoot at 120 frames per second is pretty limiting. It's a lot of images. So we created something called Speed Boost. We added this little cool custom button on the front of the camera. That's the Speed Boost button. So I can be shooting at the speed of a 9 Mark II, which is 20 frames per second. I can be shooting at the speed of, and then I can just press that custom button.
Vale.
To be able to go to 120 frames per second.
Ostras, eso está muy bien,
So I'll be sitting here shooting 20 frames per second, and without
Puedes
taking my
elegir
finger off that shutter,
si disparar a 60 o a
see
120
that moment,
con solo
see that
tocando
moment,
un pequeño
and be able
botón.
to just capture that
Muy bien
specific,
esto.
precise moment to be able to get
Muy bien eso.
that shot at 120 frames per second.
Mirad
20 frames,
qué
20
ráfaga,
frames,
por Dios.
And I know what you're saying. When you go and play it back, how am I going to go?
¿Será mejor que la
I'm gonna
R3?
sit here, I'm going to be rolling through it for like 20 minutes. This is annoying.
¿Qué opináis?
But it actually, when you play back the image, it shows you one file, you press it, and then it plays back a video. Because why not? It's 120 frames per second. And then you can just stop the video at that peak action, and then you can start, you can protect it, you can do what you want. So you can be able to go through 120 frames per second fast.
Madre mía. Te enseña las imágenes como si fuera un vídeo. Muy
It's
bien.
like, you took a limb from me. I'm like, no, that's mine. But anyway. Now I know what the video said. It said 8,000 a second. It's 80,000.
80,000.
We need a comma in there. So we can shoot at a
The
faster
shutter
speed than any camera out there. Ultra fast. So because we're reading every pixel instantaneously,
Es una
why not
es una
just do it
locura
as
esto, ¿eh?
fast as possible. So we
Puedes
can
congelar
capture
lo que quieras.
things crystal clear. We can capture the fastest action and freeze it, and freeze that moment in time. Capture that one image. But I heard your reaction. Flash sync at any and all shutter speeds. When I
Y
say any and all,
eso también
yeah.
es una barbaridad.
like that is everything we're talking about is just game changing. When I say any and all, that also means
Es una barbaridad.
80,000 of a second. Flash shutter speed. Flash sync. What? It's crazy. Making the whatever. Anyway. It also enables us to do away with certain features that we're always trying to work around conventional.
Lo del flash sync también va a ser un game changer
HSS was invented
para la
to work
fotografía
around
comercial,
conventional shutter sensors,
deportiva o
because
de
light is light,
acción.
flash is really fast,
Ojo a los
extremely
fotógrafos de
fast. So we had to
producto
create
también.
HSS to be able to keep
Va a ser
up and
interesante
slow down
verlo.
that rolling shutter. But now with global shutter, we're able to free ourselves from HSS and be able to do full TTL, and we can do full flash output at any shutter speed. So this way it's going to be synced up in any way that you want.
Claro,
So
es
this
que no
way you
necesitarás
don't have to have
HSS.
those limitations
Podrás
of
disparar como te dé la
HSS.
gana.
And it'll work with third-party flashes at 80 thousandths of a second as well. And you're going to see, shooting here with some other strobes, you're going to be able to do that. Another huge thing for global shutter, we've seen it on our
eso
broadcast cameras,
sí que es
we've
una
seen it
barbaridad.
on our
Eso sí que para mí creo que es un cambio sustancial en la manera en la que van a trabajar a partir de ahora las cámaras que incorporen el global shutter. Adiós flicker. Adiós a las mierdas de luces que hay en pabellones antiguos, estadios antiguos. Se acabó.
Or every other image will have it because you'll have one frame perfect. One frame might be on the low part of the light, so it might be dark.
Tanto para foto
So
como
we
para
have
vídeo.
Anti-flicker shooting and variable shutter. The camera is instantly able to see the refresh rate of the light and be able to only shoot at the peaks of the light. So that way every single frame in video or stills will be timed perfectly to be able to give you a perfect frame every time with no banding, no color differentiation, anything. So even if you're shooting an athlete and you have the LED signs behind you, those LED signs don't have banding anymore either. It's going to be...
Eso también va a ser muy importante para fotógrafos de deporte que a veces se encuentran con los típicos banners electrónicos de publicidad que les dan muchos problemas, o que a veces la propia marca les dice, nos gustaría que salieran la publicidad. Muy bien. Qué bueno. Un improve del autofoco con la tecnología de la inteligencia artificial. Va, mirar.
When they're really small within the frame, where they keep going in and out of the frame. This gymnast shot just really summarizes the entire thing perfectly because they're so tight in the frame and they're moving so fast, it's keeping every single one of those 120 frames sharp on the eye. And of course, it works for animals, it works for birds, it works for cats, it works for dogs, it works for cars, trains, and planes. It's kind of cheating, I'm sorry, but it is. But why not take
cars,
the advantage,
trains, and
right?
planes.
I said autofocus was cheating back in the day. Well, this is cheating times a million, right? This is already having the answers to the test. So we can concentrate on just taking pictures. We can concentrate on video. We don't have to worry about messing around with all of our controls to be able to get the shot. We can actually trust the technology to do it for us. I said it's the fastest autofocusing system we've ever had. 759 focusing points covering about 96% of the area.
Madre mía.
And it's able to shoot in extremely low light, down to -5 EV. I know what you're thinking, but we're doing -5 EV at 1.8, not 1.2, not 1.0, just saying 1.8. So it's able to focus in really, really low light. And like Oshima-san said, like Neil said, we're always listening. Sometimes it takes us a while, a la firmware, but we got it. But even little things like
nada, básicamente nos está diciendo que será el mejor autofoco que exista en una cámara de Sony a día de hoy. Habrá que ver la comparación que harán la gente con la A9 y la R3 de Canon, que para mí ahora mismo era la cámara que tenía mejor autofoco del mercado. A ver si conseguimos que mi canal personal de I Am Dani Jiménez y el podcast vaya creciendo poco a poco, y algún día alguna tienda como Casanova Foto-K, yo lo dejo caer, os lo dejo caer, Casanova Foto-K. A ver si os interesa colaborar conmigo y podemos traer cacharrillos y también hacer reviews y pruebas a nivel de deporte y vídeo, foto. ¿Qué me decís? Ahí lo dejo.
Global shutter for video,
sacamos
it's
clip.
like where it's at. That's what we want, right? So you're going to be able to get completely no distortion in video as well as stills. We talked about it before, but
bueno, vídeo está bastante bien.
Right? So you can be in that.
Lo mejor es el 4K 120 sin recorte.
Your lines are laser straight.
El 16-bit RAW output con el asterisco supongo que será porque se tendrá que utilizar con los Atomos Ninja o el Shogun o un aparato de estos, de Atomos. Pero sí, sin crop, el 4K 120 está muy bien.
And it's got all the other suite of amazing video features that we've been introducing, like 10-bit 422 all-eye, like
aquí tendrá que también ver cómo será la cámara a nivel de sobrecalentamiento, duración de grabación, etc.
Gimbal-like stabilization without carrying around a gimbal. It's a slight crop, like 1.2, depending on your situation, but it works. And I implore you to try it out. If you don't like it, you don't have to use it. Again, every generation of camera, you always see tweaks,
Bueno,
you
un
always see
poquito de
improvements. And we've had a big improvement on this camera
hablar
in terms
sobre
of
el
the
diseño.
grip, in terms of the way it feels. It feels better than any camera we've had before, to me. And then we've even changed the placement of the shutter button. So instead of being more on the top, it's more natural to your hand, so you have less fatigue throughout the day.
El
And the shutter
C5
button
Custom
feels better
Button
because we have the
creo que es un
pre-capture now.
acierto que lo
It's just more
pongan, sobre todo
responsive.
para
You
ese
can even
ejemplo que
change
ha
your
dado.
shutter lag if you want. It's just the ultimate tool. We showed you the C5 button in the front that you can customize, that you can do speed boost. We've even changed the mode dial, the drive mode dial on the top, to be able to lock it out. So that way you can access those controls from the menu or from a custom button, so you can do one-handed operation. So if you're in an underwater housing or using like something outside to be able to protect it from rain, or you just have one hand, it's perfect. You're going to be able to control it all with one hand. 4-axis multi-angle LCD,
Bueno,
same LCD that
típico.
we saw on the 7R5. So you can be able to go off to the side, you can go up the top, you can go on the bottom.
Eso está
It
bien.
doesn't add any bulk to the camera. I mean, you know, it's just, I mean, if it's already perfect, just don't change it. And it's got an incredible color gamut, something that doesn't get discussed enough. It's got full DCI P3 color gamut on it, so what you're recording is what's on the screen. So you can make sure that you're seeing exactly what the camera's recording. So at 120 frames per second, you want the field of view through the viewfinder to be as beautiful as possible. So it's our 9.4 million dot OLED EVF.
Más mejoras, pero
One thing we're doing differently here is that now you can have 120 frames per second refresh rate.
¿No
at the
incorporan la
highest
tecnología de
possible
Canon?
quality. You don't have to
De que tú, en
bring down
teoría,
the quality
no lo he
to
probado,
shoot
pero
at
dicen que
higher
con el
refresh rates.
visor
You can go even higher at
EVF,
human vision at
lo que
240
tú
frames per
estás
second,
mirando con el
and that will
ojo
bring it down a little bit.
es lo
Now
que
at
está enfocando,
120 frames
que
per
para
second,
mí
we're
eso me parece
9.4
algo
million
bastante
dots
interesante.
without any compromise whatsoever.
No sé si
We've even rethought the grip.
algún día lo
So the
pondrá
grip
Sony.
is now our first grip that really perfectly mimics the same ergonomics vertically as it does horizontally. We've even added that C5 button in the front so you can do your speed boost vertically as well as
Bueno, un
horizontally.
nuevo grip, al
We've
final
made the
el pack
shutter
completo para que
exactly
te
the same
gastes
shutter, the exactly
los
same
buenos
feel,
dinerillos,
exactly
¿eh?
same placement.
Sony,
We've had
la
the same
gente de
customizable
Sony
dials in the back. The entire
pensando
thing
en todo, ¿eh?
is just reinvented and feels so much nicer. And we've even added parallel power now. So instead of draining each battery independently, it sees it as one big battery and drains it together, and we're able to get 15% more battery life when using the grip. So everything's been thought about. Of course, it's dust and moisture resistant. Of course, it's rugged. Of course, it's magnesium alloy, just like our other cameras. And that's the Alpha 9 Mark III.
¡Oh!
Spring 2024.
6.000
$59.99.
pavetes, como la R3, básicamente.
It's ridiculous. It's so good. But of course, we have 8
6.000
million other
pavetes.
things to talk about because we don't just do things lightly. It's not just a camera, but it's also
A ver, está claro que es una
not just
cámara
any lens, it's
para
a
profesionales,
G-Master lens.
pero
Everything
100%.
you've come to expect from G-Master
Ahora-
is in this 300. The world's
Bueno.
lightest 300, the first mirrorless fixed 2.8 300.
Y este para
out there,
mí
and it
también es una gran
expands
innovación.
on our
Esta
already
lente,
amazing lineup of super telephoto lenses. We have the 3, we have the 4,
Esta
we have the
lente-
6. All of them breaking the mold when they came out. I remember when the 400 first came out, I was like, this thing is really light, it's balanced perfect, but nothing feels like the 300. I can't wait for you to get
Yo
your
creo
hands
que
on
esta
300. It's
lente,
literally gonna be like,
no sé yo,
really
pero
fake
se va a
300.
cargar el 400 un poquito.
But this makes 75 E-mount lenses. To
Para los que no lo
point,
tienen, ¿eh?
in 10 years, we've created 52 full-frame lenses. That's more than 5 lenses per year. That's creating a lens kit that's bigger than anybody else, that's got something for everybody. But I'm really excited about a 300, so let's talk about that. Unbelievable resolution, unbelievable bokeh, and of course, in true G-Master fashion, the amount of sharpness in the middle
Mirad la
is the
pelotita,
same
¿eh?
as when you get to the edges. Not having to
Y el
worry
sudor de la
about
cara del
image
jugador.
compromise at 2.8 or image compromise towards the edges of the frame. You're going to get image quality throughout the entire thing. And this lens is perfect for everything. It's perfect for sports. It's perfect for wildlife. It's perfect for portraits. I mean, I might be weird, but I love shooting portraits at 300. It's a different look than what anyone else has. And now it being so light and so small.
Es que el
and so
bokeh tiene muy buena
compact,
pinta.
it gives
Y
me
esta
the
lente
ability
para
to do
vídeo,
something
¡buf!
and do that type of creativity a little bit easier.
Puede ser muy top
But you do
para
have to be
según
far
qué
enough
momentos,
to
lógicamente.
something a little different, but really fast and precise autofocus. Of course, it's got to keep up with the 9 Mark III. So it's shooting with 2 XD linear motors. And these are our latest motors. They give us Unbelievable speed, unbelievable thrust, unbelievable silence in half the size of traditional linear motors, but still able to keep up for the Alpha 9III and beyond. And it gives the ability to autofocus and keep up with subject recognition, do eye autofocus, be precise enough to do eye autofocus with just a sliver of the screen being in focus, and it's able to do this like nothing has ever been done before. So I said it's light. It's hard to describe light on a PowerPoint
Es que se ve muy pequeñito, la verdad.
But it's crazy light. It's 51.9
No sé si será muy
ounces.
parecido al 70-200
That's 40%
F4
lighter than the
último que han sacado.
400 and 30% smaller. It makes the 400 sound really big and heavy, but it's not if you've used it. This lens is the same weight as the original 70-200 2.8 G Master. So if you're used to carrying around a 70-200, you're used to carrying around a 300.
¿Ves?
So this
No,
can be
como el 70-200
that second lens. This
2.8,
can
el
be
primero
your
que
all-day
sacaron.
lens. This gives you better mobility in terms
O sea, que es
of
súper
moving
pequeño.
with it when you're on the floor shooting a basketball game or a volleyball game. This gives you more movement and easier operation when you're panning. But it's not just about light, right? It's also about balance. And that's one thing that we introduced with the 400 and the 600 is the balance. We made this lens with the lens attached in mind. So you can put your finger right where the tripod mount is and balance a camera without a grip and the lens and be able to have perfect balance, meaning all the weight is right there. So even though the lens is extremely light, it feels even lighter when you're holding it, when you're panning with it, when you're moving with it. It's just perfect. Of course, you can use our 1.4 and 2x teleconverters, turning your
Considero que es una muy buena lente para
so you can have something small.
baloncesto. Seguramente estará muy bien, aunque depende de dónde te coloques. No lo sé, tengo mis dudas. Pero para golf, yo creo que para golf y tenis será una lente increíble.
From full frame to APS-C, giving you that 420 millimeters at the click of a button without having to press anything else. Your hand's already here
Eso
anyway.
está muy bien,
Just click it and you get that extra reach without any other compromise. Even the hood's been reimagined. So instead of the lock dial that we've had for a long time, we have a push button now. So one-hand operation, I take it off. One-handed operation, I turn it around. One-hand operation, I throw it back in my bag. Whatever I need to do, it just makes it much, much easier operation than we had before. Always thinking of even little things to be able to make it better. High reliability, dust and moisture resistant, magnesium.
Eso está muy bien porque al final la gente, lógicamente todos queremos cámaras mucho mejores, lentes mucho mejores, pero estos pequeños detalles a veces marcan la diferencia y más cuando te dedicas profesionalmente y vas todo el día con una lente así. ¡Ostras! Pues poca broma, no es caro, No es caro, Vale que no es un 400, pero no me parece caro, en mi opinión, No me parece caro. 6.000, Por 12.000 euros tienes un... Ojo, ojo, Por 12.000 euros o $12.000 tienes un cuerpo y una lente para hacer trabajo profesional. Sí que le tienes que sumar 400 euros más o 300 más de buenas tarjetas de memoria para disparar a la máxima velocidad, etcétera. Pero poca broma, Por 12.000 euros tienes un combo para deportes, para fotografía sobre todo, deportiva. Chapó, Chapó. Ojito, Ojito porque va a hacer que mucha gente apasionada haga una inversión grande, porque no deja de ser una inversión grande, pero pueda entrar en el mundo de la industria del deporte para intentar llegar a ser profesional. Porque ya os digo, con esta cámara y este objetivo lo podéis hacer todo, absolutamente todo. Ojo. Vamos a ver el vídeo que nos han hecho. So thank you very much. Can't wait to hang out with you guys. Goodbye.
For me, when I'm photographing, what I'm really seeking is just a moment of real ethereal beauty.
We want that moment in time, that single flash of light
come alive into a beautiful story.
Planazo, ¿eh?
To freeze time in a way that encapsulates emotion and really makes you think. And most importantly, feel. We're always trying to advance, to progress. To change the way people see the world. And every once in a while, something comes along that changes what you thought was possible. And this
Is one of those moments.
Muy guapo el vídeo, ¿eh?
oh my God.
Nah, de locos.
It's astonishing. All the creative possibilities this camera opens up.
Madre mía, tú. Te voy a dejar el vídeo, ¿eh? A tomar por saco el vídeo.
This is going to change everything.
Muy bien. Muy bien. Y aquí se acabó, ¿no? Muy bien, la verdad. Sorprendido. Estaba claro que iba a ser todo esto. Oh, espera, que se mueve la cámara. A ver. Estaba claro que iba a ser esto. Los rumores son ciertos. Nueva cámara, Sony a9III y el ansiado Sony 300GM 2.8. Lo que más me sorprende, el precio. El precio, sinceramente, creo que es lo que más me sorprende por dos motivos. Primero, porque creo que va a ser una puerta de entrada a gente que quiera invertir dinero. Lógicamente es dinero. Pero que por 12-13.000 euros puedes tener un equipo profesional y ya, y meterte de lleno a empezar a currar, que no necesitas. A ver, no se me entienda mal. No es necesario tener un equipo de 13.000 euros para aprender, para meterte en el mundo poco a poco y ser profesional. Pero sí que es verdad que con este combo y por este módico precio puedes dar calidad profesional, sin ninguna duda. Puedes cobrar calidad profesional, que no significa que tengas la experiencia o no, pero puedes ofrecer un producto de máxima calidad profesional. A partir de aquí, Global Shutter, increíble, seguramente de lo mejor que ha podido presentar Sony hasta el día de hoy para los fotógrafos y filmmakers deportivos. 120 FPS, pues ya lo llevan algunas cámaras, pero siempre va muy bien. Y en vídeo sin recorte, eso es importante. el pre-capture, que al final lo hereda o lo extrae a su manera de las OM, las Olympus, algo que para gente de deporte incluso o de fauna pues les va a ir muy bien. Mejoras en el autofoco con inteligencia artificial, perfecto. Pero al final la clave de esta cámara es el Global Shutter. Y cierto es, el nuevo Shutter Speed de 80.000 y con el flash. Eso también va a ser un gran avance para todos los fotógrafos y filmmakers que necesitan tirar con flash o que tenían problemas con la iluminación de estadios, pabellones, etcétera. Nada, la presentación de Sony me ha gustado. Creo que van a provocar, como siempre hacen, un antes y un después en la creación de sistemas y de cámaras para la competencia. Y nada, chicos, espero que os haya gustado el vídeo. Si es así, darle like, suscribiros tanto si estáis viendo este vídeo desde el canal de On The Field, el podcast deportivo para creativos, fotógrafos, filmmakers, diseñadores, en el que podéis ver entrevistas a distintos fotógrafos profesionales y no profesionales, y en el que en un tiempo, en pocos días, en las próximas semanas vais a ver entrevistas muy, muy top, ¿sí? Y en el que más adelante iréis viendo pues más contenido de este tipo, de presentaciones, debates con más fotógrafos y creativos de la industria, etcétera. Es un proyecto que estamos iniciando ahora y que espero que vaya creciendo y se vaya desarrollando cada vez más. Y por si lo estáis viendo desde mi canal personal, I am Dani Ximénez, espero que también le deis mucho amor. Un canal donde voy a hacer crecer mi marca personal y donde voy a intentar subir contenido para enseñar todo lo que yo sé y toda mi experiencia y cómo yo vivo el mundo del deporte, sobre todo el filmmaking, pero también desde la fotografía, para intentar pues devolver todo aquello que a mí me ha aportado YouTube, que como sabéis, YouTube es una plataforma donde cualquier persona a día de hoy puede aprender cualquier cosa desde YouTube. Así que espero que os haya gustado, espero devolver todo ese aprendizaje y intentar aportar tanto en mi canal principal I am Dani Ximénez como en On The Field algo para toda la gente y toda la industria de creativos del deporte, y nos vemos muy pronto. ¡Hasta luego!